So, but yeah, if it's blinking orange, if you ever notice, like, and when it powers on, because it'll blink, I think if it's running low or dying, it'll either give you the orange or red light right off the bat, or it'll go green and blink red or orange immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, so then you know, like, okay, like red,
Time,
orange
yeah.
is like, you're gonna need to charge it, and then red is like, charge me now.
Yeah.
Okay. But well, good. Anything else?
No, I'm excited, pumped.
All right.
This is what we're waiting for.
Yeah. So we'll start with a quick review.
Okay.
Just so we got the turn stuff right, and then we'll hop right into the recall stuff.
Cool. All right, you got it. Well, ready? Let's go.
Let's see if we find them.
Good turn. You want to come to a stop when you're ready? Excellent. Swap handlers real quick.
Right. Good job.
Wallace, heel.
Good turn. Good. As for your walk, you stop it with them.
Yeah, there'll be times he gets like a little bit far like ahead, but as soon as he feels like a little bit of tension on like the leash, he immediately like pulls back and not even like. So it's just like.
What I do is give a little bit more slack.
Okay.
So you want to take advantage of a little moment.
To put him back.
Turn it, correct him. I mean, he's doing really good.
Yeah.
But I take advantage of very little opportunity to make it as tight as possible.
Okay.
Good. And then slow to stop. And then when we do the recall stuff, I'll review why
Okay.
it's important to do that.
Okay.
Otherwise, good job. Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do here is, do you care if that leash gets hurt?
Nope.
No.
No? Okay.
Watch.
You want to remove your poop bag, and then we'll take that gray and black leash and put each other, make one long 40 leash. And then we'll move on to play. So I'm going to give you the instruction, and don't worry about it in the beginning, getting everything perfect. Once you start doing it, it makes a lot more sense, okay? So we're not, does he have any kind of concept of recall at all?
Yeah. I mean, he knows his name, like he knows Tom. It's just selective. If he's playing with friends or whatever.
There are moments where, like, if we're out at a puppy party with Jax and Emmett in the morning, and like he kind of sees something in the distance, and he kind of starts walking out, we'll be like, Wallace, like, leave it, and like.
And he'll kind of stop and slowly turn around and come back. So
Yeah.
like, he like knows it kind of, but not really.
Not 100%. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to ignore using that cue.
Okay.
You want to teach it with the remote first.
Okay.
Because it's essentially teaching Wallace there's another answer for turning off remote pressure.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is...
Should I be just laying down right now, or?
Is he in a heel or anything, or no?
No, I braked him.
Yeah, if he's on his own time, he's good. Only when he's in that heel position, right? So if he's in heel, it's auto sit.
Okay.
Then we would correct for the downing. Or, like, if let's say you step aside and you're like, I don't care what you do here, break. And then if he sits and lays down, then that would be
Okay.
okay. Now, if he's doing something like eating sticks that you don't want, then yes, you can correct if you don't want it. If you don't care that he eats sticks, then I don't care that he eats sticks. So, what we're going to do is one person's going to have the short leash, and the other person's going to have the end of the long leash. Okay. So the person with the end of the long leash is going to have the remote because they're the one that's going to be doing the recall.
Okay.
The reason for the two leashes is at some point he may get savvy to the exercise and then start prematurely running to the other person.
Okay.
So it allows us to keep them separate, okay,
Okay.
while we layer in the remote. So we go to the end of the leash. We put a little bit of pressure. So if I'm at the end of 40 feet and I have some pressure on it, I want to time that leash pressure with the remoting to start getting his attention to start moving towards me. So we're giving him directional pressure with that leash, and we're tapping. Maybe we need to bump it because he may go closer to whoever he is,
Okay.
because he might be thinking heel. Right, so we're doing that. Maybe I bump it a little bit, and finally I see Wallace starts moving towards me. I'm gonna start moving backwards, and then I'm gonna stop tapping. Okay. The
So
moving,
as soon as we put pressure, tap.
tap,
Okay.
play with the number, give enough pressure to like direct him somewhere. And the moment you feel like he's moving towards you, you stop tapping and you just move backwards a couple of steps.
Okay. Don't say anything.
Correct.
Okay.
The movement backwards is to give Wallace something to attach to.
Okay.
So most of the time when people call their dogs to the dog park, they'll get the dog's attention, but then they're standing still, so the dog's like, whoa,
Yeah.
right? And they go back to the
Yeah.
So the movement back draws them to us.
Yeah.
The other reason is, like, let's say you're in a setting where he's farther than he can hear you, and you remote him. The sensation should tell him, like, you need to do something. He'd most likely turn his stand for you, and then when he's looking for you and he sees you doing this, that's the visual cue of to turn him.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So I do it to this day with my dogs. They've been off the train 8-9 years now. So you always see me when I call them, always moving back at least 3 steps
Okay.
until I feel like they're it's 100%. Don't worry about it. Then I think that stop.
Okay.
Let me think here. As Wallace is moving towards you, you're also going to reel in your leash. Don't worry about reeling it in completely. You're just shortening it up so that this way, if Wallace makes a mistake, like a couple of days ago, I was working with a client here, and they left the leash slack, and the dog kept going all over the place, right? It took like 10 minutes before we got the dog back. So when we shorten the leash, if he makes a mistake, he's only going to have like 10 feet of leash there.
Okay.
You know, like you're just limiting it to make the correction a lot easier, so we can get them to come to us faster, and then we repeat. Okay. One way I like to do this is if you take your leash. Which hand do you use your remote with?
Right hand.
Okay. So what I would do is you have your remote here.
Yeah.
Okay. Your thumb on the nick button or whatever, however you have it. You're gonna have your leash over laying on your hand, and with these fingers, you just grab and feedback. Okay. So you can tap, right, and then once you're ready, you just start reeling in that leash.
Okay.
And then did I show you the trainer hold?
No.
So take your leash here and grab by the handle. I'm going to show you 2 of them. One is taking that handle and just looping it over your thumb and closing your hand. Okay, that's the trainer hold.
Okay.
So if Wallace were to yank the leash, it's not going to come out of your hand. It's not going to slide off your hand.
Yeah.
Some people wrap the leash around the fingers. I've had people break fingers.
Yeah.
This is the trainer hold. There's no way for him to pull that out of your hand. Once he pulls it through your thumb, in that case, you have a big problem. Okay. The other one is go ahead and take your leash. I'll show you over here. Is when you're reeling it in, right? Is you want to get used to once you're done, you're gonna just do this little motion like that.
Wait. Okay.
So here,
Back. Yep.
here, and then that.
I think we're going this way.
There you go. So it's the same hold.
Okay. Yep.
That's the trainer hold. Okay. So there, you have the handle, and then you have the middle of the leash. So like, let's say you're walking with Wallace and you're giving him the full leash, I'd hold the handle, and I'm just letting him be Wallace. So in case he decides to like book it across the field, I'm not holding it and getting that line feeding through my hand, because I've had that happen to clients.
Yeah.
You get that rope burn, it sucks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that prevents it. That hold, right?
Yep.
And then as soon as you're done reeling in, you just get used to doing that always, 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 okay? Because trust me, the time you forget is the time that Wallace is going to decide to go for it, okay?
That one, and then go downward. Yep.
There you go. Okay?
Alright.
Questions?
Nope.
Got that all down? So
I think we do.
You're going to
Yeah,
forget
we
some
got
stuff,
it.
okay? Who's holding the leash?
I'll hold the small one.
Okay. And I'll coach you the rest, okay? So you'll go and hold Wallace there, and we'll walk this way.
Should we say like?
No, you're fine. So you don't
Yeah, let's do it.
There you go. I go this way. You don't what we'll do is we'll actually do just to shorten it. About right here is good. Okay. So take a step back. Move your leash a little bit more. And start to pull your leash, okay? And tell me if you feel tension on your collar. What happens if you go step back? Kind of like right there. See that? You feel it on the collar? So there you're timing that sensation with the tapping, okay? And go to the there you go. Here, what number? Go to tap. 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 Pressure. Tap. 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 Keep moving. Tap. Now drop. Tap. 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 Back. 1, 2, right there. Yeah, 4 times.
With the same chain? Like with we're doing it 4 times?
Sure. Yeah.
Walk out.
Tap, tap, drop, tap, 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 there. Good, right there. And a boy. Yeah, a boy. Good, 2 more.
Should I pull through when he's coming to me and then leave it?
Right,
Or like,
so whenever you're done, like let's say, because you're not pulling all the way, right?
Yeah.
You're just shorting it. And let's say he gets to you and you still have 10 feet of slack there, you can still like right there lock it. Because like he maybe he's playing with Jack's and it, the side is go Jack's thing. Wanting that to be ready so that you don't get that real first. Tap, tap, drop, tap, there you go, tap, got it, tap, tap. And back, and a boy. Right there. Good, 2 more. Are you still at 11?
yeah.
Okay.
It's like so
Oh. Tap, 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 drop, tap, tap. You got it. Good. Right there, back. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Some more grass in the back.
Yeah.
So I
don't know. I found this big old chunk and a ring on this guy.
Was it glass?
Yeah.
Want to do 1 more?
Doesn't look like there's something more.
Like I'm gonna put it in my pocket and like just forget about it.
So you get diseases, man. Want me to go throw it out?
Yeah. I knew I had you around for something. Tap, tap, back, drop, tap, tap, good. Good. So we're gonna do another 5 with her, then we're gonna swap, but we're gonna add something now, okay?
Okay.
When he arrives to you, I'm gonna have you just keep still.
Okay.
Let Wallace finish, okay? So, because you're moving back, which is good, but then you're kind of slowing down and kind of grabbing him a little bit.
Okay.
And we're wanting to make sure that he's stopping because he knows to stop with you. Exactly. So what we're gonna do, everything stays the same, but then when he moves towards you, you stop, let him settle first. If he overshoots it, you're gonna turn to face Wallace and then move back the opposite way and tap. Okay, so you're always facing Wallace, but moving away from him. So if he came to you and moved to your right, you would pivot like this, right? Move this way and tap. He goes this way, I turn like this, tap, okay? Now, if he lands with you, you're gonna wait a moment, then you're gonna lightly pull up on the leash and tap to get the auto sit. Okay, so it's like the heel command where it's a package of things, okay? See how he's prematurely? Yeah. So he's already starting to learn the exercise here. Tap, drop, tap, 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 good. Wait. Tap. 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 Good. You don't have to bump it. It's like, what's the number? Has it been around 11? Alright, it's right 14, 15. And break. Try it again. Tap, drop, tap, 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 back. 1, 2, that's good. And then wait. Tap. Tap, turn, face them. Back, tap, 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 tap. Go ahead and bump it. Tap, 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 bump it. Turn that way. Tap, tap, there you go.
Good boy.
Tap. Good, and break.
Good boy. Good boy.
Break.
Break. Break. A little distraction, huh?
Tap, tap, drop. Good job. Now wait there. Good.
No fucking way.
Tap. Tap. And praise.
Is she praising too early? Like, should she wait?
It's fine. I don't mind. Like the good boy as he's coming is fine. But definitely the physical praise, I would wait now till after the sit. Like you're doing, okay? Gotcha. Do a couple more. Drop, tap, and back. 1, 2, 3, hold. Wait a moment. And praise. Excellent. We'll go now. We'll swap handlers. Morning, Wally. So for you, if he sits, great. If he doesn't, we won't push you for the first few. We'll do a few, 3 or so of just doing the original task on the lead. And then if he's doing that well, then we'll start adding in as well. Okay.
Tap right here.
Yep. Tap, tap, and drop. Yep. And back. 1, 2. That's good. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, back some more. Tap, tap, good. Wait right there. That's fine, good, praise.
Good boy.
Good. Break.
Break.
He knows what's coming, that's why. Wait, yep. Hold. Wait a moment. Now tap, and drop. Yep, and back. Good. Tap back, tap back. Keep going, back, tap. Keep going, tap back. There it is. Keep going. Tap back, tap, back, tap, back. Keep back, tap. Reel in that leash. Yep, tap, back. There you go. Right there. Good. And praise. Good boy. We're going to do one more, take a break, and I'm going to talk about why that was important, okay?
Okay.
You see it and went after it and crushed it. Okay. There's no flies today.
Huh?
No flies. Oh, no. Right.
I'll take it.
Tap, drop, tap. Yep, good. Back, tap. Hit it the other way. I think we're gonna have to reset that one. Let's try that again.
This audio is gonna be all cicadas.
Oh, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I go back and listen to them. Yep. Drop, tap, back. 1, 2. Good. Watch that dog behind you. Good. So, position yourself in heel position. And just let your leash be flat, like, yep, and heel. And then go ahead and slow turn here towards me. Yep. You got it. And then slow to a stop. Good. Okay, I'm not going to care about that little purple. So that middle one.
Yeah.
Do you know why it was important that you work through that?
I mean, in case that happens like somewhere else, or you get stuck somewhere, or I don't know, like.
You're close. What were you doing?
I don't really know. It was like a blackout.
A blind panic.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like there's a lot of moving things. I also looked down and he was at like 35, so I was like, oh shit, did I like bump it up when I was doing it?
Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like I wasn't moving back and pulling in the leash.
Sure.
And that probably didn't like guide him in the right way, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, it's like it's all that stuff. But the main thing is like, this isn't realistic how we're practicing this. We're building too realistic.
Yeah.
We're setting the foundation, right? But in real life, whenever you're going to need this to be functional, it's going to be chasing something, putting him in a dangerous situation, running towards the street, running away because he's scared of something.
Yeah.
It's going to be he's in some kind of distress. So here, when that leash was tangled up with him, he was under stress. He was tangled up, you saw him looping around, and then you're thinking about, oh, his leg.
Yeah,
right?
I was like constantly watching that.
Yes, and then you're looking at your motor, oh my God, I'm at 35, oh my God, I'm not moving back. All of a sudden, there's all these factors, right? That's real life. Except this is controlled contact.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you do want to be mindful of those legs, because if you wrap too much, I did have someone tell me that their dog broke their leg because their dog was on a long leash playing with other dogs and he got tangled up.
Yeah.
So I would say, yes, be mindful of that. So, but I was watching the whole time.
They were like loose, like you could get.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, right?
Yeah.
No.
So, one, you worked him through it. Like, hey, I know there's something bothering you right now, but you still got to do this.
Yeah.
And then two, you worked yourself through it because you had a lot going on in your mind.
Yeah.
That's life. So when I see those things, I use it to my advantage. Like I think this past weekend we had another client working on recall, and someone's dog ran through off leash, and then her dog took off after that dog, right? And then I'm like, back, tap, right, bump it, back, tap.
Yeah.
And she's like, ah, like she's like all over the place. And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, back, tap, bump it, right?
Yeah.
And finally she gets the dog back. And then it was like, everybody was frazzled, like, oh my God. I'm like, welcome to real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I'm like, that's good. Cause
it's like the times we want it for.
Exactly. You know, we're doing these things, hoping we get something like that. So, especially here when I'm here.
Yeah.
Because most people would stop, reset, untangle the dog, and then go back.
Yeah.
But life's not going to let you do any of that stuff. It's going to be, we need to figure it out, now, right? So that's the reason why I switched those things. Anytime anybody's ever told me, like, Jesse, I'm so glad, like, I work with you obedience-wise, it's almost always the result.
Yeah.
Almost always.
Yeah.
Something happened crazy and that they need the dog to return, and it's like, it works, right? In a very high-stress situation. Because the other stuff, like the walking past stuff, like, it's great, yeah. And, like, you got a glimpse of, like, off-leash heel here. But that's already like preventative control, where recall is control when you don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's running off towards something. It's like, hey, get your butt over here.
Yeah.
You know, type of deal. So that's why anytime you see that, yes, be mindful of his legs, use your better judgment, but work them through it. And yes, you may have to go through power.
Yeah.
Okay? You may have to be 127 to make them go think, crap, this leash doesn't matter. I need to go back. Because anytime anybody has in an emergency has to do e-collar recall, it's 127.
When so like for example this morning he was not being a very good listener and he was over in the trees with his best friend Art, or St. Louis is what we call him, so he doesn't get him all excited, but he wasn't listening. I'm like, well, like come on, like come, leave it. And he's off leash in the morning, like like should we work a couple sessions in like this before we're like, you're not fucking listening, I'm gonna hit this on you.
Okay, yeah, so this
sorry
is
for destroying it.
No, you're fine. I can roll back. So for here, this phase is for a bit. Okay? Now you guys are lucky because you're right in front of an area where you can rehearse this. Because that's the one thing that delays people is I have to go somewhere, get my car, take my dog, grab my leash, go to this park, practice, and then go back home again. Whereas if you guys, you can easily slap a leash on them, walk, and you're there.
Yeah.
Is that in this stage, I stay away from any recall unless I know I can make it happen.
Okay.
Which is with the long leash.
Gotcha.
Okay. In that setting, I ignore it. So like, let's say he's playing with, Mr. St. Louis.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna call him, but like he's not gonna listen. Then I just go over and I walk to Wallace. You might have to chase him around a bit.
Yeah.
And leash him up and go.
Okay.
So that you avoid him thinking, you use that word, and I didn't have to come back,
Like
and you ended up doing the work. Right? So, dogs are all about consistency. So once you start layering the word come, and he just thinks like every time you call me, I have to return, that's what we're building in his head.
Gotcha.
But it's like, I understand you're going to be in situations where it's like, you need him to come back. Is if you remember, just try not to call him, or do another term, like let's go, and start walking away to see if that draws him to you in like a real casual manner. So that we avoid the word, but it's like the same response, right?
Gotcha.
Because I want them to think every time he hears come, you have to return.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we would build to like, let's say it's like because Jackson, Wallace, right? And they're playing, I'd have him on a long leash. You know, the person that had an issue with the leash, and she was, this was before she was playing, by the way. I didn't break her dog's leg. The dog was with a bunch of dogs. Okay, so it was a lot of just right. So if it's Jackson, Emmett, Jackson, Mr. Thing, like the two dogs, we're not too worried about the leash getting tangled up. That there I would, if I see them playing, I go and position myself near the end of the leash, and while they're playing, kind of time it, Wallace come, and remote pull them out of there.
Gotcha.
That's how we built that stuff.
Okay.
Otherwise, the process is short leash to long leash drag, to no leash enclosed area, to no leash unenclosed area. That's the process I give people, okay? Because there's things that you're not going to account for. So once we layer in the cue, which we'll do before the end of class, is every time you're going to call Wallace, you're always going to remote him. So if I'm Wallace, right, and you call me, and I'm already responding and returning, but you tap him now, what do you think might happen? Or
he might.
come faster.
I don't know. I feel like
Well,
he
he's
might
already coming. He might think
associate.
you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the most common thing. If he made you said something, he responded, and the tap came delayed.
Got it.
So then he goes, wrong decision.
Yeah.
Goes the opposite way.
Okay.
So we have to prove that. So that's why in the first week I tell everybody, and when you call your dog, always remote, because you're more likely to put in a delayed tap at some point, confuse your dog, and then essentially this, like, no, get your butt over here.
Yeah.
So that the tap would ultimately mean don't ever run away, but speed up if anything.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, and there's other things that we do to force these mistakes. So I'm trying to prove in his mind that tap never ever means run away. It always means return when we're in this kind of setting.
Yeah.
And if I tell a dog to down and a tap him comes to me, I'd rather the dog default into a return to me and make that mistake than trying to skedaddle.
So when he was like pulling and like biting at the leash and like all that stuff, was he like getting it, or was he like, what the fuck is going on?
He was confused.
Okay.
Like, because you did a few, because he was bucking back towards you.
Yeah.
Remember I said, like, he might think you or
Oh,
whatever?
yeah.
So that's why we have the long leash to put tension on him. So we're like, not that way. And then he goes with the leash, and then you move back to draw him in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's all stuff that I want to see.
Okay.
Want to get all that out now.
Yeah.
So that tap is boom.
Yeah.
Okay?
Cool.
Other questions?
Yeah.
We're gonna do a few. Now we're gonna do a few more, but we're gonna emphasize those auto sits if he doesn't do it. But so far it looks like he's been doing pretty good. Okay. And then we're gonna layer in the words.
Gotcha.
Ready? Let's go. Hold it short.
Well, I'll do the. You already did the auto set one.
Okay.
So I didn't have it at the number. All right.
Ready? Tap, tap, drop, tap, tap, back. 1, 2. That's good. Tap. Tap. Oh, there you go. Good. Praise.
Good boy.
Good. A few more. Break.
Break. There's like so much leash. I'm trying to like reel it in and like.
Yeah, I know. Don't. This is like the messiest command, you know.
Yeah. You're due.
Not helping us.
Tell me, wait, you want again?
Maybe. My voice isn't dry like it was the other day. Tap, tap, drop. Good. 1, 2, tap, 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 back, back. Tap, tap, back, tap. There it is. Good. And praise.
Good boy! Good boy! Good boy!
Excellent. A few more. That could be you, Bill.
What? Being in a family?
Family pictures.
We're taking pictures? Yeah, instead I got stuck with dogs.
What's up?
Instead I got stuck with dogs. I feel like it's a much less of a competitive space currently.
Show me that.
Not yet. Let him settle first. Now. Tap, tap, back. Good. Tap. Good, right there. See what he does. And praise.
Good boy! Good boy!
Good.
Great.
We'll do 2 more. I know.
Good boy, buddy.
Wait a moment. Let him settle. Wait a moment. Wait. Now. Tap, 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 tap. And drop. Good. Back. 1, 2. That's good. There you go. Hand raise. We're going to do one more. We'll give them a break. We'll talk about the next steps and then go there, okay? Yep. Wait. Tap, tap, drop, tap, good. Tap, 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 good. Good, leave your leash flat. Good. And then you'll just say heel and walk up here.
Wallace, heel. Great, good boy.
So that spinning around and stuff is frustration because he knows me. Okay. So I'll like wait a bit. Anxious, nervous dogs tend to do this, really, especially the anxious ones. We got like 3 or 4 other dogs, same deal. Once they cut onto the idea, they're like, it's gonna happen. So now wait, let them settle, wait a little bit longer, and then try to make it random.
Okay.
Or as random as possible, so it's not like every time we're apart, it's gonna happen immediately.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, that is only an issue because it's a setup.
Okay.
Right? I wouldn't really practice it this way. We're only doing this because it's not as simple as, how'd you say, once he gets used to the idea, you're going to try to like distract them, and he's not going to want to do anything.
Yeah.
So this is how we can force the disconnect.
Okay.
But what I would do with this, there's 2 ways, is this way, with the 2 of you, and then there's a more natural, organic way, which is you cross over to the park, put him on the long leash, you hold on to the end, break, and I just wander around with Wallace. And let him be Wallace. See, food, roll around, all that stuff, right? Just like walking around leisurely, walking by trees or bushes or anywhere where you know like he likes to like this and be distracted. And let him be Wallace for a bit. 3 minutes goes by, sneak to the end of my leash. Wallace comes, tap, 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 moving backwards. Good practice, so recall off the distraction. Does he have prey drive?
Squirrel.
Prey drive?
Squirrel.
Oh, yeah, squirrels. Like, if they're within range, he's going to want to go get them. If they're far away, though.
But he does, yeah. He likes it.
So if I have a dog that has good prey drive, I use it to my advantage. Go where there's a lot of squirrels. Break, holding on to the end. Even instigate, like, what's that? And the dog's up and down the tree and stuff like that. Let them do that for a few minutes. Sneak away for a bit. Let them be there. While it comes, go off the squirrel. Okay? Because anytime anybody ever calls their dog, like the dog's distracted doing something, chasing something, running towards something they shouldn't, or running away.
Yeah.
Typically what people end up leading to the recall. Okay? So I try to recreate that stuff as much as possible. Now if you're working solo, you can only do it so much because then you'll get paranoid.
Okay.
So if you go like and you practice 100 times or 20 times in the session, like he's not going to want to leave your side because it's pointless.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I go for half an hour, like the whole 30 minutes, I just might let him be Wallace running around, and at the very end find like one really good opportunity, practice it once, put him on the short leash, heel back home. The next time, 3 times, the next time 5 times, then 1 time, and then 1 time, like you're randomizing how many times you call him when you're solo, so he doesn't think like, we're just going to the park to practice, there's no point in even trying to leave you because it's just going to calm you.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
When we use like things like squirrels and stuff, the longer he's engaged with that, the more disconnected he is from you. So like, don't be afraid to let them have at it for 5 minutes. Like that's good, because this is going to allow you to detach them from that and return. You kind of have to get a appropriate number. Okay.
So what do we do if he's like not paying attention, or like he feels it and he tries to like dart around, like go back to like this exercise? If he's like just one of us, yeah.
So if it's just one of you, you can make it happen. So that's where that reeling in comes into play.
Just keep pull.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and if you want, you can put on a shorter leash until you get used to it, and then work them back to the 40 leash. 30 feet or more is like the realistic distance that recall is super important. Okay. So like, if you calm and you start moving back and you're tapping and you start to see that zigzag, you're just literally having to pull him in, to like kind of force a return. And I'll keep the tapping at the same time, because unless he's moving directly to me, there's pressure.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know if you saw it earlier. He looked at me, started veering towards me, and I went tap, and then he went like that. Boom. Yeah. And he turned away and went towards you. So it's like a little remote control car. Like if he's going in the wrong, like a detour, tap, and you just see him change direction.
Gotcha.
Okay. Other questions?
That's what I have right now.
So we're gonna do a few more reps, but now we're gonna add in the words. I typically do the dog name in the cue, or however you want to do it. So it'll be like Wallace, come. When you do issue the recall, you want to use a up note. You don't want to use like a deep voice, like Wallace, come.
Like so, not like happy, not like mean.
Well, it's not so much happy or mean. It's just higher pitches carry better. So you got the cicadas, you got people running, all that noise, right? So Wallace, come travels better than Wallace, come. Especially when you're at a distance.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's, you know, it's positive.
Yeah.
But it's more so because of that. It just carries over loud noises. So it's going to be Wallace, come. And then instead of the full, you're going to just start tapping and moving back. Okay? And I want Wallace to start moving towards you, ideally with the tapping, not because of the leash. So we're trying to wean him off of the leash pressure and go to the remote now.
Cool.
Okay? Question?
So, just so I understood correctly, because I was good. I was laughing and all. I was like, I'm like a little kid. I'm stressed. So it's like, we're going to say Wallace, come, in a high-pitched voice, and I'm going to keep tapping until he turns and starts walking.
Tapping and moving back.
Tapping and moving back.
Yeah. So when you're flipping it, because it was full tap. Now it's tapping, and then at some point, because you're moving backwards, the pull's going to kick in case he doesn't respond to the tapping. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So do we say Wallace, come, tap, or like tap while we're saying Wallace, come?
Right after the command.
Okay.
So technically, like a command serves as the warning. Get over here, or I'm going to tap you, right? So Wallace, come, tap, and continue tapping and moving back, and then at some point tension will kick in. You'll keep tapping. Once he moves towards you, you take those 3 steps back and wait and let him complete it. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
You want to go first?
Okay, wait.
He knows it's coming.
Play that Jaws music.
Yeah.
Right. Tap, tap, back. 1, 2, 3. That's good. Now, yep. Now wait a moment. Tap. There you go. Now here, hold on. Just say heel and walk forward. And slow to a stop. Good. Break. Good. And repeat.
Well.
Any collars release that.
Excuse me.
And like, at what point am I releasing the leash at the right time, or am I holding?
As soon as she, now that we have a cue, you can release as soon as she calls them.
Okay.
Okay. Hey.
Saddle.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Tap back. Tap back. There you go. 1, 2, 3. You're good. Good. Excellent. It's okay. Good.
Wow, look at you.
Break.
Break.
Good. 3 more. Yeah. There you go. Very good.
So like in that scenario, would you even need a beep if you was just like right away, or?
Yeah. Remember the deflect.
Gotcha.
The confusion. Once he learns it, then you're correct. But we want to make sure we kind of force that issue.
Yeah. Okay.
And make it in his brain that tap always means recur. Right? Yep, make him figure it out. Wait a moment. There it is. And we're not going to care that he's off, just praise it.
Good boy.
Because right here, you're trying to teach him how to figure out what to do to resolve the tapping
Yeah.
on his own without any guidance. And eventually, you would tap him, he'd just put his butt down and he wouldn't shuffle like that. Okay?
Well, let's move it. Come on. Let me see this.
Yeah. Back. 1, 2. You're good. Excellent. Okay, we'll do one more and then we'll swap.
If I'm dropping it, he just looks so cute when he's running at me.
And I mean, that's why we use a 40-foot leash. Like, if you start to go off,
Just grab it.
my first instinct is always step on it.
Yeah.
Most people is to grab it, but rope burn.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that.
I know.
Hold, yeah. Yep, good. Tap, tap forward. There it is. Good. Good.
Good boy.
Break and swap.
Break.
Good boy, Wally.
Good job.
Good boy, my dog.
You're fine. You're not supposed to do least tension anyway, so it is fun.
No tension, right?
Correct.
Wallace, come.
Right? And back. Back, back, back. There. Good.
Wallace, heel.
That's a good deal. Very good.
Good boy, break. Good boy. So I feel like I kind of messed up there. I should have only said it once, right?
That's okay. Yeah, but you're correct. We say it once to make it happen, but you caught yourself. So that's the biggest thing. As people repeat and they don't even know they're repeating.
Yeah. Wallace, come.
Yep, back. 1, 2, good. Good.
Wallace, heel.
Very good.
it.
Good boy.
Yeah, 3 more. Hey, he's like, I know what's going on here.
Should I wait till he sits down or is he okay now?
We'll let him settle a bit. Oh.
Wallace, come.
And back. Good. We'll go in and cap him there so we don't get too frustrated.
Okay.
He's got good speed, and he's doing this off-leash heel really well. Or long-leash heel. All right. So, just gotta fix that little turnaround there.
Right, good boy.
Hey, I will anticipate your every
Good boy.
So, now at this phase you can start doing a few things. One is obviously start practicing that recall. One way you can start to make this more realistic is if, like, let's say you have the end of the leash, right? You grab the short leash, and instead of waiting for him, you start to walk away with Wallace, and then randomly calling him as he's moving away with the other hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're recreating that recall when moving away from you.
Okay.
And we start with walking. I usually go about halfway through, so you still have the other half of the leash to try to make him return or disengage with the remoting, because that's always the goal.
Yeah.
You want him to respond to the remote and either turn away from what it is he's doing or immediately leave whatever it is he's distracted by. Okay? With the tap, because that leash pressure is not always going to be there to guide him.
Yeah.
So, that's one way to start getting that to be more realistic if like, let's say you don't have any distraction in the environment. And then once that's good, then the next step would be you're running away with Wallace and doing the recall. Okay? Everything is still on the leash. The long leash heel. You can do that a couple of ways. You could do a recall, a couple of them, and then go into a heel and just walk for a bit, right? And you can hold the end of the 20-foot leash if you want to shorten it, or you can just let it drag, depending on what your environment is like. But just know where your leash is at, okay? And this is how we build towards off-leash heel. Okay, when we do these methods, these are off-leash methods. Okay, so with the heel, it just comes down to is the owner wanting to practice this to that degree, and it's super simple. It's just you just go through the steps.
Yeah.
Everything stays the same. Your pivot stays, your crossover stays the same. Your pivot stays the same. Slowing down to a stop stays the same. The only thing that changes is the length of your leash until the point of where there may not be a leash.
Yeah.
I do suggest if you're doing this exercise with them, you do want to be mindful because you want to know where Wallace is at. So when I used to walk, I had 3 dogs, and they would all walk off leash with me downtown and stuff. And I would have an earbud here, and this ear would be empty. So I could hear their tags, and I know what it sounded like when all those 3 of them are right here.
Yeah.
So then when I heard it get a little quieter, I knew someone was off, and I would just look, and it would be like my chihuahua stopping to pee on something, right? And I'd correct him, and he'd run over, and then we'd keep walking.
Okay.
So for Wallace, same thing, because it's weird when you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's like your peripheral, because you don't want to be like this the whole time you're walking with them. You want to trust he's there.
Yeah.
And like with some dogs, they'll bump, so like the owner just gets kind of used to that rhythm of them bumping, or the tags, just the way they sound as they're walking. So if he doesn't have like any tags, whatever, I just put something there so you have an audio or audible as you're practicing with them. And that's like forever in my opinion. Like you want to always have that awareness of that he's there with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Questions so far?
I don't think so.
No. I think I'm good right now, yeah.
Good. So with the recall, practice as much as you can. If you're practicing solo, try not to do it too much so you get paranoid.
Okay.
When you work with each other, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like he was getting frustrated, but you can force it, and you can just wait it out so he's ready. And then don't be. You can also wait a little bit longer than like a few seconds. We do that because of time constraints.
Yeah.
But when you're out, like you could do a couple away from each other, then you do like 10 minutes, like we do nothing, and maybe even set it up where it's kind of it's not because it's very obvious.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That maybe you're standing with them, and you're just like petting them, and you sneak away, and do do a recall there.
Okay.
You know. Anything else?
No, I actually one quick question. So I took him to like a state forest park last week. And
Yeah.
We walked off leash for the most part, all of it, but like he was in front of me. Is that? But like he like walk and like look back and walk. Is that okay? Like because we weren't like working on like I never said the heel or anything like that. That's okay, or is that not okay?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, unless you say heel, it doesn't matter what he does.
Okay.
So if you say sit, if you say down, if you say come, whatever, then you need to do this and continue doing this until I release you.
Okay.
So if you're walking with them, like when I would walk my guys off leash, I'd walk through like Grand Park, and then there's like these huge fields, and I would stop and go break, and then they would go, and I would walk through the field, and they would just be zooming around me.
Yeah.
Because that's their time. And then I was like, all right, get over here, heel, and then we would go into that tight structure. Okay.
Okay.
So like if I'm walking through a forest reserve and it's empty, and I'm like, all right, cool, you guys have freedom.
Yeah.
But then I see a deer off in the distance. Then I would call my dogs back, put them in a tight heel. You know, if for you, like if you feel like you have that level of control, and you walk past it, and then it's like we're in the clear, I release again.
Yeah.
If we're not there yet, I leash them up as precaution, walk past it, and then you use that as a judgment, right?
Okay.
Like it's like, yeah, we walked past like 100 deer on the leash, and there wasn't a problem. Chances are it's not going to be a problem off leash. Okay?
Gotcha.
So as
Okay,
long as
cool.
it's not under any command, it doesn't matter how he walks, it doesn't matter if he's dragging you, because he's not under command.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that was.
No, heel has been great. If I need to get somewhere fast, I'm like, heel, let's go. We were like back in like 5 minutes. It's awesome. But no, I think this is great.
All right, awesome. So you'll need your long leash for next class as well, because recall is a 2-part exercise.
Perfect.
And then after that, we'll talk about other things that we want to cover, either stationary control or whatever.
Okay.
And then we'll figure it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Good job.